Hello, everybody. Welcome to the local pundit. It is game day, Vertu Cup, or as Josh would like to say, the Jimmy Bag of Donuts. But anyway, we're up and away. I will bring in my co-host for this morning, Paddy. How you doing?
Good evening, everyone. I'm doing okay.
We survived. We survived deadline day on the transfer market yesterday. What a big day that was!
Yeah, good fun. Not much happening on our end, and not as many going out as I expected either.
No. Well, that was the news too. Aaron James has been sent out on loan.
That did come in last night, didn't we? We mentioned that before we finished,
We
didn't we?
mentioned that. Oh, okay.
I think it came in right at the very end. Yeah.
Right at the very end. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But anywho, so we're up and away. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about in terms of our lineup, which I'll bring that up now for us. Here we go. Paddy, what do you think?
Arthur in the cup is interesting. But of course, we do have 2 weeks before the next match. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Getting him some game time and rested Howard, not risking him. I think I'm looking at this as a not risking my best players lineup.
If you are potentially not going to put Okonkwo out in the next league match, then you have to protect Howard. Because McNicholas is just back as well. So considering Howard came in above him when we needed him, then yeah, McNicholas is third string.
Yeah. So I guess AO in keeper. Let's go through it. Clearworth, Scar, and O'Connor at the back. We have Longman and Rev on the wings or wing backs. In the middle, Cannon, Evans, and Lee, and then Harry Ashfield and Mo Fale up front.
Ashfield is the interesting one there. We kind of expected Mo Fale to be up there. Some people are asking, is Harry actually playing the Lee role in a 3-5-1-1 scenario? Yep. Have we gone back to a 3-5-1-1? So maybe that is not dead quite yet, if that's the case.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
The winner of this match goes through to the quarterfinals to play Bolton. So on the bench, McNicholas, Brunt, Mendy, Barnett, Dobson, Smith, and Palmer. Ollie Palmer. I said we'd never see him in a shirt again. How wrong I was. Didn't take long at all.
I've said that before, and I've been wrong too. So I was laughing when you said that, actually.
Yeah. So there we go. But he's made the bench. So let's look at the players that we've definitely rested. That aren't even there tonight. So Mullen's not there. Rodriguez is not there. Marriott is not there. So there's a lot of really good players that aren't there at all.
Well, we don't have a lot of attacking cover, but the one attacking cover we do have is Smith. So that's a big gun to come in if we're not winning towards the end to try and get it across the line. But yeah, taking out Mullen and Marriott and giving them a rest, I don't mind that.
No. Also, O'Connell's not there either. So yeah, he's definitely rested some guys here.
Yeah, well, if that as well also shows that O'Connell has the number one spot for the moment. Because Scar needs the time according to what we've seen. If Scar's been pulled back out again for O'Connell, then Parky needs to see him in the fence again and kind of watch whatever weaknesses he's seeing. And seeing if they've adjusted, if he's changed anything, if he's been asked to change anything. And obviously, in theory, a weaker cup to do it in. So maybe this is a test for Scar, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, I look at this lineup and I go, okay, I'm giving some guys some time. I'm definitely resting the guys that I really want to make sure I keep, even like a Stephen Fletcher, But look, just quickly, Steve Barton, 6 new memberships already today. Thank you very much, Steve. But it is looking very good. I mean, I'm very excited to see Evans back playing.
Yes. Good to know he is not still injured.
Yes, yeah, and I'm really hoping for a strong game out of him tonight, just to give us that options in the middle.
Yeah, a strong game out of him absolutely puts him in potential lineup in the future as we need him.
Yep. Matty James not in the lineup either. Jeez, we've got to think about a lot of players these days, don't we?
Yeah. Matty James, I think he's comfortable with Matty. I think he's doing the job he's been asked for, so there's no need for him to be involved in this.
Well, I guess if you're not taking it seriously yet, he's not meant to be involved in this. I mean, do you think if we make the quarterfinals, you start to take it super serious?
Yes, you're getting pretty close. The only thing is though, I don't think it'll be a full 11 in the next one, because we still have too much to do in the league, and I don't think he'll risk some of his players and risk losing points in the league, because we're chasing 4 points. We can't afford even a draw in a match we should have won. So the league is just too important. So I would expect in the next round against Bolton, it'll be stronger than this, but it won't. I don't expect it to be the full number one lineup. Would be my guess. I wouldn't be surprised if he did go full, but my guess is we still won't see an absolute first 11.
And I guess, well, that's assuming we beat Port Vale tonight.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and like, you know, they're in obviously League Two. So I'll go hunting now for their. Actually, hadn't brought this up yet.
And the plan would be that if we don't go through tonight, then that spot for the next round would be to replace one of the matches that we haven't played yet.
Yes,
I can't remember which team it was, but there's a match we had postponed. That one is penciled in. I
think it's like
that spot. It was a Leyton Orient.
Okay. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right, actually.
So I think, and here is, oh, how long ago this was, Paddy, the League Two table. Do you remember back when?
I do, and I have occasionally been looking at it, but not so much.
Yeah, so Walsall's leading. Port Vale's down in 6th spot on 48 points. The last 5 games, they've had 3 wins and 2 draws, so they're in strong form. 13 wins, 9 draws, 6 losses so far this season. So they're right there. But just looking at that, Walsall, aren't they having a rip snorter of a season?
Mm. Yeah, but interestingly, there's a big story about that we don't have time to dive into. But if there is potential here that if they win the league, they won't go up.
What?
Yeah. Apparently, they don't meet some of the standards that are required for promotion. They're having a lot of internal problems, ownership, wages, all this sort of stuff, governance. There's a lot of problems with it. It's a big story that I recently looked into just a little bit. But yeah, there is a chance that they'll be told they're not being given promotion, even if they win the league.
That's big news. That's big news. Yep. Look at that. Doncaster 2nd, Notts County 3rd. AFC Wimbledon, they're in 4th. Hey, there's a team that makes some interesting conversation points around us too, and players that have been club.
I was just about to make a comment, but I realize we can actually figure it out right now. Port Vale. Question is, are they going to go full strength for tonight? Because they're also in a position now where they are looking at the playoff spots, and they don't fall out of the playoffs. So two schools of thought. One is, do you want to keep your starting 11 together and just keep them playing and keep them in form? Give them the cup together without changing them and messing it up? Or do you want to save some of your players and not risk them for League One? So it would be interesting to compare their last lineup from the last match versus what they're showing us tonight.
Yeah, and I'm just looking now to see. So they're playing Swindon Town this weekend. Here they are here. And they're running matches today. Then Swindon Town on Saturday, and then the next weekend they play Notts County. So they've got Swindon followed by Notts County, and in the table, Swindon Town is down in 14th, followed by Notts County, who are above them in 3rd. So, yeah, I mean, they're playing a weaker team next. But when I say weaker team, if you have a look at Swindon Town's form, they've won their last 4 games on the trot, and the 5th game was a draw. So it's at least 5 games since they've had a loss, and they're on a bit of a tear themselves at the moment. So that's not going to be an easy game for them this weekend.
Right. I just pulled up their last match against Accrington Stanley. Do you have the lineup for today, and we can compare them?
For Port Vale?
Yeah.
I will find it. If you like.
That, we can have a look and see.
Let's see if they've got it on their website. If they don't, I shall go to X. Let's just go like that. And news. What do you got for us, people? No, I'd say it's going to be an X thing. I'll remove this from the screen and find it. That's okay. That's okay. Will you keep going there, Paddy, for the moment?
Yeah, so that was it. Just really, how strong are they going to go? You know, that's a question for them as well.
Yeah.
We may get their full strength side. It's possible that they're already willing to do it.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, look, it is going to be an interesting thing that we see today. So I think it's just taking me a few seconds. So I'll let you carry. You take control here for a second, Paddy.
Yeah. Okay, I can pull it up here too. So yeah, it's look, a League 2 team, but they are obviously looking for playoff spots and promotions. So it's not going to be a simple little thing, and we haven't gone full strength.
No.
Private chat there. I have a link if that helps you.
I now have it. So I'm just getting it all set up to throw up on the screen.
Interesting for today is our wingbacks, Longman and Revan. So that will be good to see as a full match, or most of a match anyway, to see how they play, because obviously McLean's going to need a rest soon. So for Revan, this is his opportunity potentially to shine and show that, yes, I'm ready to step in for McLean if he does get that 10th yellow card. And Longman, of course, can just show his general quality, and that he is potentially better than Barney, even though Barney is such a high standard. He can start making a mark, even though it's a cup match. And how well he does. Okay,
Paddy, what do we got here? Give us a comparison.
Right, so Ben Amos was the keeper for the last match, and he's not in today. He's a substitute, I believe. I think I saw that a moment ago. Okay, so they're probably not playing the number 1 keeper today, which is interesting. Then in the back, we have Sang, Hall, and Smith. Are they playing? Let's see.
No,
none of them are playing. Okay. Then midfield, we have a 5. We have John, Crowsdale, Harper, Garrity, and Headley.
Okay, they're playing a backup lineup.
Okay, and then up front we have Stockley and Tolaj.
Nope, definitely playing.
None of them.
Definitely playing a backup lineup.
Yeah, so that's a completely new 11 for them.
Well, you'd have to think that has to make us, not only would have we been favourites, obviously League One versus League Two side today. When you start giving me that information, Paddy, that's like, if we don't win tonight, that'd be very disappointing.
Yes, looking at this lineup, but it's the obvious thing to conclude. We should be aiming at a nice kicking here.
Yeah, which is great to,
look, some of our guys need it. Some of our guys need to get a nice match and and come out with a really good result.
Well, and when you look at this squad, and when you look at our squad, Paddy, which is strong, our squad, not just our lineup for tonight, it is a strong team, and it's these guys like Revan, we've been saying needs to play. Good to see George Evans back. O'Connor has been, a little bit out of favour, and Scar, and now that O'Connell's got that, all these guys need game time. Mo Farr needs game time.
Yes.
So this is actually us going deep in this competition is a good thing, in my opinion.
Potentially, yes. Yeah, because it wouldn't hurt to have a couple of extra matches where you could play some of our second string if he continues to do so in the next round. But yeah, just looking at our lineup, Okonkwo, he needs to prove something today. That he is back and ready to take the number one, because this may also be a proving ground for him. The decision may not have been made yet for our next league match, whether it's going to be Howard or Okonkwo. So he may need to step up here and show that he can go back to the idea of a clean sheet keeper, with little to no mistakes, especially positioning. You can always lose a goal if you just happen to have a bad attack against you. So that's an interesting one. Max, I'd say, doesn't have to prove much. He's just been used. Dan Scar.
Just quickly, Paddy, I think you've nailed that right on the head with AO. Like, I think, I don't think that it's, I think if in Parky's mind, he absolutely wants AO back as number one, but I think he needs to get there yet.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think he can win back his spot tonight with a near flawless game. Not necessarily a clean sheet, but as near flawless as a keeper should be, getting in the right spaces, getting the right saves. And if a goal goes in, as long as it's not your fault, there's nothing could be done about it. He could win his spot back. Obviously, the potential injury is there, but if he's starting tonight, then it can't be a real problem.
No.
Bar mentally, or maybe some twinges or whatever that maybe he just has to play through.
And this was something that I did mention around Parky. Not all words are what they are. When he says, he's got an injury, he's sometimes protecting players with his comments. But Mad Al coming with some gold there. Scar as captain is very interesting.
Yes.
Because Evans could have been captain for sure. I think Lee could have been captain for sure. But Dan Scar's captain. Yeah.
It is interesting. But Scar is known to be the leader from the back. And it shows his potential. And I think, considering it could be given to anybody, and in theory it might not change very much. Maybe it's just another thing that he can show a bit of faith in Scar. That even though I've pulled you out and kind of put O'Connell back in, you're not done with me. And maybe he's just using it to smooth things over just a little bit.
Maybe.
Kind of an apology that's not an apology type thing.
Yep. Steve Barton, another 5 minutes. Thanks so much, Steve. And the big dog, he's throwing a few grenades here. Maybe this is their first team lineup. I don't believe you, Josh. I think we've got a couple of really good strikers now. So I think, And Brian Chang, I hope you are right. I am a massive Harry Ashfield fan from everything I've seen of him play so far. I want him to have an absolute banger tonight.
Yeah. So quickly then, continuing the lineup, Dan Scarr needs to prove himself in the position. Tom O'Connor, not really. He just needs an okay game with no real issues. Then Longman and Revan, Longman is new, so he needs to just prove himself that way. Not that he's done anything wrong yet. Revan just hadn't had the time. So again, he wants to prove himself there. Andy Cannon has been taken out of the lineup in preference of others. Nothing particularly wrong with him, but it wouldn't hurt to prove, a high standard again and have a good game. George Evans just back from injury, so we'd love to see that he's ready to potentially come back into the lineup if necessary. Lee, I would love to score at least one again.
On Lee,
and hopefully he's back in his midfield position, just in case this is mixed up.
I'd love to see, even if he doesn't score, I'd just love to see some really threatening midfield probing attacks, opening up the midfield, showing how dynamic he can be through that position. That's what I'd love to see from him.
Old school Lee, yeah.
Yep.
And potentially with this match, there should be zero reason he can't do that, because potentially the standards are lower in the other side as well. So for those that are saying maybe he can't keep up with some of the League One defenders, I would love to just see tonight that, okay, maybe it's a bit of a factor, but would just love to see the old Elliot there to show that he's still there when he gets the opportunity. And he hasn't been playing in his midfield as much as we might like.
Yep.
So then who do we have? We have, I said Revan. Middle is done. Okay, Ashfield and Vale. Vale needs a big game. He needs a big game. Because who knows when his next one is going to be. And I think out of everybody, maybe he needs the biggest game, because he needs to show that, put me in, coach, at least keep himself on the bench for some matches, maybe not every match, but just to keep himself in contention, because there is potential here that he might not play again for the rest of the season, depending on how things go.
Yeah, true.
So he needs a big one, and maybe in this one, he might get to bang in a few goals.
Yep.
Harry Ashfield, obviously being our young player, just wants to make a name for himself.
More minutes.
More minutes. He'll never get into our team, obviously. That's a leap way too far. But some highlight goals would certainly do him a lot of good.
Yeah, and I'd love to see him go out on loan for us next year, and get some serious playing time. So for him to start tonight would actually then show him off to other clubs, so that when it was time to get him out playing for another team, it's going to be a fairly easy thing to do.
Yeah, you need some form of a highlight reel to show off, even if it is loans next season, because even one highlight match to show that you really could be top end might be the difference between a really low level League One versus a League Two team next year.
He had some good moments in this competition early on too, when he played and came on. So, and then what about the bench, Paddy? Do you think anybody there on the bench really needs some minutes? I can see someone. I want Mendy to get some minutes.
Yeah, Mendy needs the minutes. Obviously, he hasn't been playing enough. I'm guessing he'll get 20 minutes towards the end, unless something goes wrong with Revan, that Parky isn't happy with him. Otherwise, I assume he's going to play a full 70, and then maybe put in Mendy. I would think out of everybody on the bench, Mendy is maybe the only one that Parky needs to see, because he hasn't been playing. Brunt is just back from injury, so he could do with some playing time just for the legs. But I don't think Parky has any issue in his mind that he won't play Brunt. Whereas with Mendy, absolutely, you still have to have it in your mind. Is he ready? Is he not ready? So he needs to show off for whatever 20 minutes he might get.
Yep. And Harry Ashfield is an academy player. Yeah. So
he's on a full adult contract now at this stage. But yes, he's on the academy, the older age.
came out of the academy, got a full contract now. And someone said it there, like, Glenda. Yes, hey, Glenda, trains with the first team. He's getting lots of time and experience around our first squad right now. And I just think he is a classic example of a player that needs to now, if he's not going to get into our starting lineup now, because I think this kid has big ability and has a very, very bright future.
Yeah, he has had some moments in the cup matches of looking like a potential star. So like I would expect him to go on a nice loan next season. If we go up to the championship, then absolutely. I think he has to go on loan because there's not enough point in staying with ourselves. If for some reason we end up in League One, I still expect him to go on loan, but there is maybe an option for him to hang around as an extra player to maybe get an opportunity if we remain in League One. Probably not, but maybe. It all depends on his training levels.
Yeah, well, he's definitely trending, that's for sure. So, I mean, that's a great thing, and that's the one thing that we do lack. And I mean, that's a lot deeper conversation, talking about training grounds, having a bigger academy, having all of that stuff going on, having a youth team, like an under-21 team. I mean by that, not an under-18 team. So yeah, like that's a much bigger conversation, but. Tonight's exciting. I cannot wait to watch it. This lineup excites me for what I'm going to get to see. This is one of the main reasons I love watching these games, because especially when you've got a decent squad, you get to see some of the rest of your squad get out there and show us what they have.
Yeah, one thing that could help our academy without costing anything is if Ashfield could make that jump to play a match with the first team and show that it is very possible for someone to come through the academy. Because of course, like Clewert came through the academy, but that's been multiple years now. When we were in the National League, what we need now is someone to prove that you can still get into the team at the higher level that we're at. Now, again, more likely League One if we remain here next season. Championship will probably take that too far away.
Well, there we go. We don't do a footy tips for this competition, but Aaron's jumping in. He's even made sure we post it because it's a super chat. He's gone 2-0 Wrexham over Port Vale. I'm going to go 3-0.
I thought you might do that. So I'm going to go 4-0.
4-0. And who knows what Josh would say. You just never know with Josh. He's he might put in there. He's telling us now that the pre-game is on YouTube, but I'm just hunting for it now. And I can't see it here in my YouTube feed, but that's okay. We're only, what are we? We got 9 minutes before we cross to Josh. So is there anything else pretty serious? Chris is going, look at this. Everyone putting it in here. Josh Anthony, 1-0.
No, I've got something to say, and I'm going to say it every single time we do it. I hate when we wear red away.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Well,
it's a pet peeve of mine. I just don't like it. We have 2 away shirts for a reason.
Well, we have
a second and a third for a reason.
Yeah, and the other night I purposely wore the black kit because I thought it was going to be matching our away team, and then we ended up playing in the gold. Tonight I've purposely worn the red. I thought, well, we won. I'm going to wear the red so I don't match the team, and here I am, all squared up. Like, yeah. So who knows? Like, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to their mindset of which kit to play.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't.
So Port Vale will be in white and we'll be in red. So yeah, well, easy. That's the one major thing that the away team has to do is obviously not clash. So can't be too similar. But I think tonight we're going to see it. We're going to have a big game day build-up. I've now just found the game day build-up. No, that's us. That's a much better show. That's the local pundit game day build-up. We don't need to listen to that. Those guys don't know what they're talking about. But so yeah, it's going to be, I think, a game tonight where I want to see this whole squad. Like you always want to see your team play well, but I really think, there could be some interesting points to come out of this match. If Scar has a really great game and dominates, and it can be taken a couple of ways. It can be, well, they weren't that good a team, they're only League Two, or holy dooly, this is what we've been needing out of this guy. And Scar and AO were having a few words with each other in the last match that they played together. So, which I'm okay with. I don't have a problem with that personally, as long as they move past and move on. And I think that'll be the case. But yeah, Gorgeous George, want him to play well.
The cup games are always kind of interesting to have a look at the more secondary players. But tonight is the first time where a lot of the players on the pitch are squad players, and it's directly affecting who will be our first 11 and who will be starting matches, because certainly a lot of the players tonight are pushing to be our first starting 11. So it's much more interesting tonight than usual for a cup match.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. So I think we got sort of, it's just going to be, I think, one of these games. I mean, let's talk about, what have we got coming up? We've got Josh is coming up in a few minutes now with the live watch along for everybody. You've got extra time?
Yep. Almost immediately after the match, yeah.
And everybody out there, off. Yep, please feel free to jump in. We want to see lots of new faces. We're happy if we end up with, and don't be scared away if there's a couple of people in there already, because we will rotate in new people. We'd love to have 10, 15 people jump in and have Paddy working his backside off.
Yeah, the more the merrier, guys. No problem getting people in. It would be nice for a few new faces, absolutely. And potentially some different talking points tonight. Probably a lot of team discussion afterwards, I would guess. Yeah.
And then I'm sure if you watched along yesterday in the transfer deadline show, we did tease out Paddy's interview with Andy Morrell. And I think I'm pretty confident it's coming up as a two-parter, Paddy. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's the plan. So we'll try and get that organised ASAP.
It'll be up this week.
It will be up this week.
So because we've got after tonight, we've got a nice little break of no games.
Yeah.
So we've got, I think it's 10 days.
Yeah, 10 days. Yeah, Carl Davies just put up in the comments, Lee should be rested. While I understand the sentiment, I actually like the idea of him not being rested tonight. I want to give him minutes back in the midfield.
Well, with 10 days to our next 10 game,
10 days, yeah.
I want him playing. And here we go. Upper management has spoken. Part 1 of Paddy's interview with Andy Morrell will be tomorrow. Get ready. It will be. I actually hopped on and had a little bit of a sneak peek, Paddy, but I only got about 10 minutes in. Then I got pulled away with work, so I am going to get in. I'm lucky.
You didn't see much then.
I'm one of the privileged ones. I get to get a good sneak peek, but so going to be a very. I tell you what, still a fit-looking guy.
Yeah.
Still in shape. So so I think that's fantastic. So is there anything else we need to cover off today?
No, being a cup match, maybe just the fact that this was also postponed. So the next match in this is going to be coming very, very quickly. If we go through tonight, and we know we're playing Bolton if we win. Also, if anyone doesn't know about the cup matches, obviously the winner will be decided in this match tonight. So the match could go long if it's a draw at 90 minutes, and it could end up in penalties as well if we need to go that distance. So cup matches do this.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So
I know Josh will be over in makeup right now, just getting his last minute touches. He's probably doing the whole getting ready at the desk. You know, I mean, we all know how organised Josh is. He would have been up for hours getting ready for his show. So it's very exciting for tonight. I'm so pumped to watch tonight's game, Paddy. I really am.
Yeah, it'll be interesting being a cup and a mix of new players. And let's see how strong the opponents are.
Yep. And will they come at us? I hope they do. I really want to see.
I assume they'll come at us because it's their one shot as well. It's a cup match for them. They're all secondary players. They're all going to want to show off. So I doubt they're going to want a slow tempo match unless it's a strategy and they want to just get to full time and push it to penalties. That could be a strategy to take us out as well. It's just a draw is potentially good for them because we should be winning this match. So
absolutely. Well, look, we've got 140 people in here now, Paddy. Don't forget, guys, like and subscribe. We're about to jump out and throw to Josh for the watch along. Paddy, extra time straight after the game. We really encourage everybody to jump in there. Last words, Paddy?
I'll see you in extra time. And remember, if this game goes long, then we'll just push extra time and we'll go straight at the end.
Yeah. So everybody, look, thanks for being here for Game Day Build Up. Let's go have a banger. And on that bomb.